2.
Assalamualaikum and hello to our respectful lecturer, Madam Wan Nur Aiza. Today we have received an opportunity to deliver on our video presentation for course code Dpk20073, Personality Development.
We have 4 types of method to keep our healthy mind. And firstly is exercise regularly. Exercise has many known benefits, and it's appears that regularly physical activity benefits the brain. Multiple research studies show that the people are physically active are less likely to experience a decline in their mental function and have a lower risk of developing Alzheimer's disease. We believe these benefits are a result of increased blood flow to your brain during exercise. It is also tends to counter some of the natural reduction in brain connection that occur during a game. In effect, reversing some of the problems, aim to exercise several times per week for 30 to 60 minutes. You can walk, swim, play tennis, play football, or anything. And number 2 is get plenty of sleep. Sleep plays an important role in your brain health. There are some theories that sleep helps clear abnormal proteins in your brain and consolidates memories, which boosts your overall memory and brain health. It is important that you try to get 7 to 8 consecutive hours of sleep per night, not fragmented sleep of 2 or 3 hours increments. Consecutive sleeps give your brain the time to consolidate and store your memories actively. Sleep apnea is harmful to your brain's health and may be the reason why you may struggle to get consecutive hours of sleep. Number 3 is eat Mediterranean diet. Your diet plays a large role in your brain health. We need to follow Mediterranean diet, which emphasizes plant-based foods, whole grains, fish and healthy fats, such as olive oil. It incorporates much less red meat and salt than a typical American diet. Studies show people who closely follow Mediterranean diets are likely to have Alzheimer's disease than people who don't follow the diet. Further research is needed to determine which parts of the diet have the biggest impact on your brain function. And last but not least is number 4. Stay mentally active. Your brain is similar to muscle. You need to use it or you lose it. There are many things that you can do to keep your brain in shape, such as doing crossword puzzles or Sudoku, or reading, playing cards, or putting together a jigsaw puzzles. Consider it cross-training your brain. So, incorporate different activities to increase the effectiveness. Your brain can get just as good of a workout through reading or challenging yourself with puzzles. Finally, don't watch too much television, as that is a passive active and does a little to stimulate your brain.
This is characteristic of healthy mind. There is 3 characteristics of healthy mind. The first one is the ability to enjoy the life. For example, like this. This action want to show that we can be happy even though there is 1001 problem that happen in our life, and forget our mistake in the past. We need to have me time, such as meet a friend or family, to forget the stress for a while and not be overwhelmed by the fear or anxiety. Remember, the history is a past. Learn from the past and make sure that we not to repeat the same mistake. Second characteristic of healthy mind is resilience. For example, like this. Action want to show that the process of someone who adapting well to the stress. Because when someone not in the healthy mind, they will be overwhelmed by the emotion. For example, like emotion of stress, emotion of sadness, emotion of anger, emotion of fear. For example, when we having a stress or about work or personal thing, we need to take a deep breath. I believe we can face this life test. We can be sad or stressed, but we need to make sure that we control the stress, to make sure that the stress is not affect our life or getting more worse. For the last one is balance. For example, like this. Someone that can balance their life with personal and work life. With someone who has a healthy mind, it can be balanced with work and personal. Because with someone who not in condition of healthy mind, their mind is not in the right condition. For example, they cannot balance their life. When someone not in condition of healthy mind that cannot balance their life. For example, when they focus on the personal, they will focus on the personal. They will not focus on work. If someone have healthy mind, they will balance their life. For example, this essay show that we can hang out with a family or friend, but balance our life with work. With this, we can reduce the stress from prevent burnout at work. Because when we stress at work, we hang out with friends. When we stress with the personal thing, we go to work. Because when we go to work, we get money and we happy.
Negative thinking is a thought process where people tend to find the worst in everything or reduce their expectations by considering the worst possible scenarios. Have you think that why you have suddenly make a negative thought in many aspects? So there are three major types of a negative thought. Firstly is negative talk about self. You may giving yourself a negative message about yourself. Many people do. These are messages that you learned when you were young. You may have even worse the problem by making up some negative message or thoughts of your own. These negative thoughts or message make you feel bad about yourself and lower your self-esteem. Some example of common negative message that people repeat over and over to themselves include I am jerk, I am loser, I never do anything right, no one will ever like me. Most people believe this message no matter how untrue or unreal they are. They come out immediately in the right circumstance. Then negative talk about others. This is common happen and mostly people think negative about others by jumping to a conclusion. How often you jump to a conclusion based on a feeling or thought without any evidence to support it? People often perceive negative about others. For example, you seem to know exactly how someone is thinking. You often interpret an action or response and conclude that you are not like or that someone is angry with you. However, no matter how well you know that person, jumping to conclusion by your own assumptions is a bad behavior in the way of thinking. Lastly, negative talk about future. This cognitive distortion allows you to believe whatever you are feeling, it must be so. For instance, when you are planning your career in the future and dream to have a strong savings, suddenly comes out in your mind that you think your future will be terrible because you don't have the powerful self-esteem and you think you cannot reach to the upper level which in successful way. Some people regularly connect with their future self. Curiosity about what might happen in the future and what brings people to think negative is come from many aspects, and one of it is they are affected by surrounding. Perhaps their surrounding is from people who are lost their life, lost their career and bankruptcy, so it makes your thinking feel in the same way.
Problem solving have 8 steps. Step 1. Identify the problem. To solve a problem, you must first identify what the problem actually is. You may think you know, but you need to check it out. Sometimes it is easy to focus on symptoms, not causes. You use a rational approach to determine what the problem is. For example, the apprentice you supervise come to you saying the electric warming oven is not working properly. Before you call a repair technician, you may want to ask a few questions. You may want to find out what the apprentice means by not working properly. At the very least, you will be able to provide valuable information to the repair technician that aids in the troubleshooting process. Step 2. Gather information. That means data is available or needed to help clarify or fully understand the problem. In addition, are additional resources required to clarify the problem? If yes, elevate the problem to your leader to help locate the right resources and form a team. Next, ensure the problem is contained and does not get passed to the next process step. Step 3. Develop alternative. It is brainstorming with a group can be an excellent tool for identifying potential alternative. Think of as many possibilities as possible. Write down these ideas, even if they seem somewhat zany or offbeat on first impression. Sometimes, really silly ideas can contain the germ of a superb solution. Too often, people move too quickly into making a choice without really considering all of the options. Spending more time searching for alternative and weighing their consequences can really pay off. For step 4, weigh the alternative. Once a number of ideas have been generated, you need to assess each of them to see how effective they might be in addressing the problem. Step 5. Select the best alternative. Some individuals and groups avoid making decisions. Not making a decision is in itself a decision. By postponing a decision, you may eliminate a number of options and alternatives. You lose control over the situation. In some cases, a problem can escalate if it is not dealt with promptly. For example, if you do not handle customer complaint properly, the customer is likely to become even more annoyed. You will have to work much harder to get a satisfactory solution. Step 6. Implement the decision. Once you have made a decision, it must be implemented. With major decision, this may involve a detailed planning to ensure that all parts of the operation are informed of their part in the change. The kitchen may need a redesign and new equipment. Employees may need additional training. You may have to plan for a short-term closure while the necessary changes are being made. You will have to inform your customer of the closure. Step 7. Monitor progress. Whenever you have implemented a decision, you need to evaluate the result. The outcomes may give valuable advice about the decision-making process, the appropriateness of the choice, and the implemented process itself. This information will be useful in improving the company's response the next time a similar decision has to be made. Okay, for step 8 and last step is a review and learn from your experience. It is a seek additional opportunities to implement solution and ensure problem will not recur and deliver lessons learned.